Hello, and today we are speaking to Katrina Collier from winningimpression.com. Katrina is a recruitment expert with extensive experience using social media networks to approach, attract and recruit high caliber candidates. She is a speaker, trainer, writer and prolific blogger on all things social media in recruitment, whether in how to hire or how to find a job. Katrina, a very big welcome.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Excellent. So, Katrina, my first question is, social media for recruitment, are you sure? Most people think social media is for fun. Can it really be used for recruitment purposes?
Definitely, without a doubt. I got really excited about using social media in recruitment about 6 years ago, actually maybe 7 years ago, when I first started using it. And more importantly, because I could see the change that it was going to make to the recruitment industry itself, because it's sort of cutting out the middleman. And these days, I think a lot of businesses use it to grow their business. So a lot of people are aware that they can get access to other people. So in exactly the same way as you look for a business opportunity, you can look for an employee. I myself have done it, hired 50 staff without using an agency and only the occasional job advertisement. Very niche technical skills I was looking for as well. Hired 50 of them without any issues at all. And I've seen umpteen clients who I've trained as well be able to source directly and quite easily as well.
Okay, so it sounds, you've got a lot of experience. It sounds to me, I don't know, is it just for big businesses, or is this something that small businesses can make use of as well?
No. The company that I helped grow, we were basically 18 staff and we grew to 70.
Wow.
So we wouldn't have been able to do it if we'd been paying out all those fees. It was circa £500,000. So it allowed us to find them directly and therefore, cut that third-party reliance out. And most of the companies I train are up to about 200 staff. And of course, what it allows them to do is look in multiple social media networks and really find the right person. Because when you're quite small, that right person who's perhaps a bit more flexible is really quite important.
Okay. So you talk about those kind of levels of costs. Is that is that really sort of something which applies? I don't know. I'm just trying to think. £500,000 or a couple £100,000 for recruitment costs for a small business. Recruiting somebody that could potentially be a real big hit. Just a couple of thousand. What are the sort of typical costs and what are the type of savings that you could make?
The typical agency cost is around the 15% of basic, depending. If it's more specialised, it shoots up. If they're a headhunter, it's 35% of basic. So if that's even just a £20,000 salary.
Exactly.
There's quite a lot of money going straight out the door.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point I was going to make. If you're a small business and you're recruiting people, you just can't afford, I guess, to get it wrong, apart from anything, purely because of those costs. So there's a real cost immediate advantage there, isn't there? Is there much of a cost involved in doing it this way, though?
No. No. Because there are so many things that you can do. Obviously I would suggest that they invested some money with some training with me, which is nothing like the thousands, I hasten to add, so that they got the skills to be able to find people quickly, because obviously your time is money, so that's important. So if they learn how to find people quickly, which will also help them on the flip side in growing their business, and then there are so many things that you can do to find and contact people without paying a penny.
Okay.
So there's a lot you can do for free. A classic example, client of mine, we put an advertisement in the job discussion on a LinkedIn group, the right group, obviously, you've got to make sure you join the right one. One hire, 6-month contract, saved him £16,000. So, and it cost an hour of my time.
Wow. So what's the best way to start then? Let's think of an example. Let's say I'm a small business owner and maybe I need someone in support or whatever it may be. What do I do? Do I just go out there and do a blast on Twitter or something?
No, I would actually recommend that you started on LinkedIn, because it is a business network. Be aware that LinkedIn does only have 1/3 of the working population in Britain on there, though, so you do need to spread your net. I would suggest that you asked your network. So, put something in the status at the top and say, look, hey, I'm looking for someone. Who do you know? Like you would ask your friends, but do it online. I would join some groups that are, perhaps, we talking IT support, say?
Yeah, I mean, just to give an example.
General?
So you'd look in groups with specific skill sets related to what you're looking for. It could be if you're looking for salespeople or accounts or whatever it may be.
Join the correct group for whatever you're looking for. And then you can go into, there's a job discussions tab, and quite easily put a job there. I would just, recommend that you write, it is in London, UK, or wherever it is. Make sure it's quite clear. And then, so that's free to do that, to put it in the job discussions.
And do you need to sort of, how much detail do you need to be putting in their salary? Are there anything that you should sort of keep back, or, I'm just thinking
exactly the same as what you would do if you were going to a job board.
Okay. And are there any sort of legal implications or anything like this about the job description, what you put up there? You can't actually write the UK, you must write the EU. That's the only one. Other than that, the video just cut out there. If you just repeat that little section.
I always recommend that people write must hold a permit to work in the EU, not UK. Okay. You can't write the UK, then you're breaching laws. But if you write EU, must have a valid EU work permit.
So by putting it up there, you're not committing yourself. You're not sort of committing you or your company to employ anybody or even interview anybody. You just must be aware that you can't. Obviously, you must adhere to the normal legal obligations.
Yeah, exactly the same as if you were to advertise on a job board. It's exactly the same. So I would do that. So that's your status and a job discussion on a group.
Yep.
Then I would actually look for people. So using the advanced search button up the top on the right in LinkedIn, and just put in some keywords that you're looking for. And you can do it by location and the area away from the location. And then just start, you might have to add them as a connection to get in touch with them, but just start looking for people. But it's as simple as that. And people don't mind if you just add them and say, look, I think you might be suitable for this role. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And because you're a direct employer, they're quite flattered.
Ah, right, okay. So you're just sort of gently introducing yourself. Hey, I know, I mean, we don't know this person's looking, but you're just saying it's worth just putting feelers out there and just seeing if people are looking for something, and you just never know.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, there's always the telephone. So if you did find that they worked at a certain employer and you're feeling a bit ballsy, you could pick up the telephone and give them a call.
Aha. So now you're getting into sort of headhunter territory. You're being proactive. You're getting on the front foot.
Yeah.
And you're ringing them up.
If you just called and you said, hi Tony, I know you're at work. I'm ringing from this company. I'm really interested in what you do. Can you talk later after work? Is there a mobile number I can call you on? Most people will happily hand it over because they're flattered.
Yeah, okay.
Who's not flattered when a company rings them up and says, I've seen your profile, I want to hire.
Exactly.
But my recommendation would be to then, after you've had a bit of a go at LinkedIn, is have a look at some of the other sites like Google+. You can certainly find people on Twitter as well. It's a little bit longer process, but you can. And then go off to some of the specialist sites, particularly if you're recruiting in Europe, sort of Zing and Viadio as well. There's so many. I could go on.
Well, what we'll do is below, when we put the video up, we'll put on there a sort of list of aggregate list of different sites that you recommend.
Yep, sure.
Now, I know we've talked about how to approach people. Are there any sort of faux pas, any sort of etiquette that you need to be aware of that you should really avoid when you do this?
Well, when it comes to social media, full stop, what you should never do is broadcast. So a classic example will be if you have a look at some people's Twitter feeds, perhaps they just put job after job after job after job. And it would be exactly the same, if you're trying to sell your products. I'm not going to go training all the time because I'm going to offend people and they're not going to want to sort of engage in conversation. But if you put your role out there as a sort of, look, hey, do you guys know anybody? I know you're all in this field. Is anybody interested in this? Can you refer me someone? It's a lot more softer. And then as you would if you were doing status updates for your business, you sort of interject that with articles of interest around your industry. So you're not bombarding them, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So basically, don't just sort of advertise that you're looking for jobs. Be an interesting, engaging person with relevant information about your market or whatever it may be. It's not just all about going for the for the throat, as it were, getting for people that are interested in looking for work.
Yeah. And it's exactly the same when you're growing your business, which I imagine a lot of your listeners do, which is, you share articles around the industry that they're in, and then interject their blog posts or their opportunities, or, oh, we've got this great offer. But that's all amongst what they're doing. It's not like, the broadcast media that we're all subjected to, where you turn the TV on, there's an advert blasting at you.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Very different. It's conversation.
So we've looked at recruitment. What about if we turn it around? What about if someone's looking for a job? Not me. I'm probably unemployable these days. But
oh, I bet you could be. I mean, this is the joy. I mean, that's where it's fantastic for return to work, or even for the long-term unemployed, the grads today who are having such a tough time. It gives you access. So what you can do is build a really good LinkedIn profile, get your testimonials, get your skills endorsed, and you can network in exactly the same way you do an advanced search to find a person. You advanced search to find the HR manager of the company or the managing director. And you sort of either find someone to introduce you,
yep,
or you can, and on LinkedIn, you could just be as bold to make a direct approach, but you're going past the clutter. You're not one CV amongst the pile of 100. You're going directly and being quite proactive.
And do you find that a lot of people are doing that these days, or are they just not aware of it?
No. I mean, I wrote a blog on Friday, which is very much about that. There is a bit of a disconnect between the people using LinkedIn to recruit. So, I mean, I'm talking recruitment agents, for example, or in-house for big corporate companies who are heavily reliant on LinkedIn, to the job seekers who haven't quite realised. And I certainly know that a lot of the job centres aren't telling them to use LinkedIn, which is also a little bit worrying. They've had some training on Twitter, but Twitter's a lot longer process. But I wouldn't overlook Twitter either if I was a job seeker. I would certainly go and search the bios and find the people who are in the industry they're interested in, and engage them, retweet their posts and share something with them, and they will start following you back, and you can engage them in conversation. And I do know people who've cut corners and got great jobs because of it.
So what you're effectively trying to do is get on people's radar then?
Yes.
It's a sort of surreptitious approach, really, as you say, retweeting stuff, getting mentions and that type of thing. And getting them interested, who's this, and then maybe they'll be following you. And
I mean, if I came to you and I wrote, hi Tony, I'm looking for a job, blah, 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 you might be like, but if I'd already engaged you in conversation, you're like, oh yeah, that Katrina, she's all right, I respect her, and then I said, do you know anyone? You'd be happy to pass me on. And I always look at it in my father's time. Bless him, he's in his 80s, and I would have gone to Dad, hey, Dad, I need a job. And he'd have gone, oh, look, go and ask Uncle Rob. I know he knows someone who knows someone. And that's what social media is, but it's right in front of you.
Yeah,
so you can engage with anybody to get that passed on.
It's recommendations on steroids then, really.
Word of mouth on steroids, exactly.
Yeah,
excellent. Definitely.
Excellent. Now, you, as well as just recruitment, you obviously, you do a lot of blogging, and you're an expert as well in social media and all of the sort of newer technologies. Yeah,
I mean, definitely. I mean, a wide range of social media, because obviously I know how to use it to grow my business, but also to source. I mean, my main specialty is the recruitment and the job seeker side.
Okay.
And I speak and I train and I definitely blog. The odd rant.
So if we like a good rant here. Now, if people want to find out a little bit more about you, how can they get in contact with you then, Katrina?
I would recommend the best starting place is my blog, which is winningimpression.com /blog.
Okay.
Of course, I'm on LinkedIn. Definitely look me up. I'm pretty sure I'm one of not that many Katrina Colliers, so you should be able to find me. And I'm on Twitter at winningimpress. I couldn't quite get the shun on, so at winningimpress. You can find me there as well. I'm also on Google Plus, but I couldn't tell you what my thing is. Just look me up.
They'll find you. Don't worry.
Yeah, there aren't that many on Google Plus, but it's definitely the one to be on this year.
Okay, so definitely, Katrina's there. She's, if you've got questions on this area, it's an area as we've discussed where there's still a bit of uncertainty about it, but there's huge opportunities for you if you are either recruiting or if you're looking for a new job. So definitely, get in contact with Katrina. You might want to just mention, say, Pickaweb interview if you contact her via LinkedIn, just so that she knows where it's come from.
Yeah, no, definitely. Please do that.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, Katrina. We really appreciate all your thoughts. And as usual, everybody, put your comments below. If you've got any questions, just put them on there. Katrina and myself and Pilar will get back to you. We'll answer your questions and get a good discussion going. Okay?
Brilliant.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Katrina.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Cheers.
Bye.
All the best then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.